friends. Happy Thursday. Okay, so wanted to come on here and talk a little bit more about the reel I posted today, because sometimes what is in my brain, I do not relay that well in the caption, and I usually do a better job, but I started thinking, because I had a comment come in today and she said, I disagree with you. And so I was thinking, okay, what is the viewer thinking as they're reading what my overlay is? And then I thought, oh my gosh, okay, I need to explain further. And you know, a lot of times these reels, I can have all the intention behind what I'm saying, but I can't explain all the different nuances. So I kind of wanted to come on here and chat, and you know, hopefully it makes a little bit more sense. So I posted, if you didn't see, it's basically me showing my abs, and then I turn to the side and then I'm bloated, and it said that, you know, hormonal fluctuations are normal and it's not fat. Okay. And someone said, I disagree. I feel that during perimenopause, it's nearly impossible to lose fat. So that was not what I was saying. And I think it makes sense why it was misunderstood. So I just want to explain all the different angles there. I was talking about the fluctuation of your bloat, how it comes and it goes when you're having your menstrual cycle, and it's, you know, you're not seeing abs, then you're seeing abs, and that's not because your fat mass is going up and down, okay? It's because of water retention. The estrogen, the progesterone is constantly all over the place during perimenopause. And, you know, even before perimenopause, your luteal phase, you start getting bloated. And then, you know, it happens the first couple of days of your menstrual cycle, and then it kind of tapers off, okay? But I just wanted to kind of reiterate, I think I was thinking of like two different ways I wanted to post, and it came together and it didn't really make a lot of sense. So my apologies there. But it's when you are experiencing that bloat, I feel like a lot of women, they get in their own head and they think, oh my gosh, you know, I am gaining fat mass, because I work with a lot of women. And that seems to be a common thing, that someone will join the program and maybe they're in their follicular phase, or they, you know, they just ended their period. And so they're working with me for like 2 weeks or maybe even 3 before their true luteal phase kicks in. And then they start feeling like crap, like they're feeling great for 2 weeks, and the scale's going down, and they're feeling tighter, and they're feeling on top of the world, because you do in your follicular and your ovulatory. And then boom, a couple days before you start your period during that luteal phase, you just start retaining water, you get bloated. And so then they're thinking, what am I doing wrong? It's the fat mass. Like, am I gaining fat? I don't know what I'm doing. And so that was kind of what I was talking about, was it's hormonal fluctuations. It's not fat. Okay. So with that being said, let's flip to the other side and talk about the true fat loss issues and struggles that women have. Let me know in the comments if you are currently over the age of 38, because for me, perimenopause started when I was about 38, almost 39. So about 2 years ago is when I started noticing my body just changing. And, you know, how sleep was impacted. My joints were hurting. I wasn't excited about all the things that I used to be with, you know, exercise and social events and things like that. You know, very, very low desire for anything other than my business and my baby. Okay. And so 47, you're right there. And, you know, a lot of women in their late 30s, early 40s might not think they're in perimenopause because they're having consistent cycles. However, your hormones do start shifting by the age of 40. I mean, it's slow shifts, yes, for some. And, you know, some women, like, you didn't notice until you were 50. And so that's, you know, all genetics have something to do with it, what you've done with your body leading up to it. So if you were super, you know, harsh on your body in terms of, you know, being a competitor, and you were doing all the things like I was, and you're very strict, your body you're very lean for year after year after year, you know, that might seem to be healthy on the outside to someone who's overweight. They might think, oh, that lean body is healthier than mine. But in all reality, us females were put here as reproductive productive beings. And, I'm always very transparent about my struggles because, I've done a lot of right things, but in the real picture of the female body and what it was put here to do and what the healthiness is of it, the reality is having a little meat on your bones, having a little fat on your bones is going to allow you to really feel your best hormonally, because that's where we thrive. Women who don't have a period, who are amenorrheic, body fat's way too low, which I've never been in that place. Well, actually, yes, I was in that place when I was a lot younger. But it does take a toll on you, and sometimes it doesn't hit you until it does. And for some women, it doesn't catch up to you until perimenopause, and then you have a hell of a time with perimenopause, but you didn't during your premenopausal years. So anyhow, a lot of women will complain that they really didn't struggle as much during their premenopausal years with weight as they do when they're in their perimenopausal or menopausal years, okay? So I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper, because I feel, and again, there's no one size fits all here. There's no, this is what it is for every woman. But I do find with discussing amongst all my people on Instagram, having my communications with, I've worked with thousands of women over the last 23 years. The common denominator with this struggle, like the women who are really struggling during these hormonal shifting times, they tend to be, and not everyone, but a lot of them tend to be those who have done extreme measures for weight loss leading up to that hormonal changing time. So let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. If you are struggling and you're 40 and up, and you're like, man, it really wasn't so much of a struggle before. I was able to cut calories and exercise more and lose the weight. But how extreme were you doing it? And when you were doing it, did you lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it? Because that's what I find. Most of the time, people that took this very rigid, extreme approach that were able to lose it, but they couldn't maintain it, and then they gained it back, they lost it. It seems that once they hit these hormonally challenging years, everything is that much harder. And I think it's because they've done this yo-yo thing for so long that it becomes even harder, because your metabolism gets slower and slower every time you do this extreme approach. Okay, so remember that. And that's why I'm always like, don't take the fast approach, because even though it's going to get you from point A to point B sometimes, but usually leading up to perimenopause, you can do that extreme approach and it works for you. But you hit these challenging years where hormones are not on your side, and now you do that extreme measure and it's really not working. So that's what I ask you first and foremost, to all the ladies out there who are saying, I am in perimenopause and nothing is working. What has your approach been? Okay. And what has it been in years past? Because what you've done in years past will predict your challenge now. Kind of the same way that hey, when I was really young, when I was 19, 20, 21, I was not doing my body a service. I was competing in fitness. I weighed 112 pounds. I'm 130 now, and I'm very lean now. 113, 112 pounds. I was very lean. I didn't have my period for a couple years. Clearly I did my body a disservice then, and it's now making my journey that much harder. So I want every single one of you to know that just because you're in perimenopause doesn't mean you can't change, doesn't mean you can't lose the weight. It just means it's going to take a different approach, and it's going to take a multi-layered approach. And you cannot do what worked for you back then. You can't do what works for your best friend. You have to do what is going to not only be doable for you in this moment, but also going to be maintainable. Okay, so that's what I'm very passionate about when working with women, is I want to see what you're currently doing, what you did leading up to you joining the program, and what you see yourself doing forever, and what you see working into your family life, your daily life. Okay, because if I'm asking a VP of some big corporation that has 3 kids and a husband to be exercising twice a day and to be, eating 7 meals each day, she's going to be like, yeah, right. Like maybe I'll do that for all of a month and then I'm going to be done with it. Okay. So that's the first thing. Like women in perimenopause, stop starting something you can't maintain forever. Okay. You can have an approach that will work for you now and forever. I have been living that for the last 2 decades. I haven't competed in 20 years, and it's because I've been trying to find this balance. And even though I feel like I've maintained pretty darn well, but I live a balanced life. I drink alcohol from time to time. Yes, it's not the best thing for, perimenopause, but I've backed off a lot. But even years ago when I was doing it a couple times a week, I was still looking this way. I just wasn't feeling my best. And then blood sugar regulation, I'm like, sorry, but that is the absolute framework every single person should be building upon. I don't care if you're macro counting, if you're living vegan, if you're living keto, people that are living keto are definitely focused on blood sugar regulation, but maybe not gut health improvement. And so everything needs to be taken into consideration. Your gut health, your liver function. Stop doing these crazy detoxes, taking fat burners, doing all these extra things, jumping on the Ozempic bandwagon, like doing all these things. That is not helping you, okay? So dumbing it down and taking it one step at a time. Perimenopausal women struggling with fat loss, what do you do first? And you are in for a very big surprise. In 1 month, I'm going to be revealing my Flux app, and it's a play on of it fluctuates with you and your hormonal journey. So it's going to take you down the path. Are you having consistent cycles? Are you this age range? Are you having these symptoms or no symptoms? Okay, then you go down that path. And then all the information you're going to be given throughout your journey being a subscriber of the app is going to be dedicated to all the things you need to know in that moment. And if everything shifts for you, you can reset your app. You can choose the different symptoms you're experiencing, and we'll connect you with a medical professional that might suggest blood work, and we're going to connect you to that. And I'll go into all the specifics, but ladies, I am obsessed with giving you all the things that you need to help you navigate this journey. Okay. So wait until about Black Friday and you're going to hear all about it. I'm going to tell you a little bit before, but I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. But for now, if you are struggling, I want you to make sure that you are mostly cooking all of your meals. Okay. And I'm mostly all do your best in not eating out. Don't order in. I don't care how healthy they say it is. What ingredients are they using? What inflammatory oils are they using? You just know what is in it and cook it yourself. Okay. I would say 95% of the time, try to cook it. Okay. It's all relative. If you're eating out like 90% of the time, going to 50-50 is going to benefit you even more. But cook most of your meals. Okay. Really minimize that alcohol intake. That's going to be such a game changer. And it's like some of the simple things that people are like, oh, I've tried everything, but I'm not willing to give up X, Y, and Z. Well, then you haven't tried everything. And I'm all about keeping it real. Like, look, you don't have to drop that 10 pounds. But if that's at the top of your priority list and you don't give a rat's patootie about going out with your girls and having wine night and doing this, that, and the other, like pick your hard. But I don't want to hear you complain that you can't drop the 10 pounds if you're not willing to drop the liquor. You know what I'm saying? Like figure it out. Stop complaining. Choose the path. Choose your hard. One hard is not, which one is harder for you, right? And that's different. That answer is going to be different for everyone. But whole food, whatever you choose, like it doesn't have to be plant-based. It doesn't have to be keto, but it needs to be blood sugar friendly. Very little inflammatory ingredients. And that's all I'm going to say because it really can be that basic in the initial stages. Okay. Of course we get, fine tuning everything as we progress through, but a lot of people aren't willing to just do the basics. And I think sometimes we need to dumb it down. Okay. So whole food, very little alcohol, and the 3 supplements you need to take, every single woman. And I'm actually connected to Adapt Naturals. I have reviewed so many supplement companies that have vitamins, minerals, just like the basics of what people are mostly deficient in, and also understanding how vitamins are absorbed in our body, how many people are taking vitamins at the wrong time, not with the proper meals, not in the proper combinations. So like vitamin D for one is something that is a lot of us we're supplementing with, and it's not doing a darn thing in our body because we're not pairing it with K2. And if you weren't familiar, D3 in the body, it helps us absorb calcium. But if you don't have that along with K2, the K2 moves the calcium to our bones and our teeth instead of having it linger in our arteries where it can calcify and later lead to heart issues. Okay. So anyhow, I really know through how, like, seeing statistics of what women are deficient in, what the key symptoms are of perimenopause, vitamin D, vitamin D3 paired with K2 is necessary. Magnesium is necessary. And for proper D3 utilization, if you don't have enough magnesium in your body, you're not getting very much out of your D2 or your D3. So we want to make sure that you have magnesium in the body, you have your vitamin D in your body along with the K2, and omega-3s, okay? If you're consuming your omega-3s day to day in your food, fantastic. But a lot of people are not, okay? So I have connected with this company, and we're gonna do some kind of a duo where if you join the app, we're probably gonna give you a month free in the app if you choose to get the bundle, the Vitality Bundle, which is going to be the magnesium, the omega-3 fatty acids, and the vitamin D. I think I said 3, yeah. And for the first month, because we're that adamant that having these 3 items for us women who are struggling hormonally, and again, your symptoms, they might not be, for me, my symptoms are everything but the body. But for a lot of women, their body, their aesthetics, the weight gain is the issue, and they're not necessarily struggling so much with the low libido and the mood swings. But 9 times out of 10, most women who are struggling with the fat loss journey, they are also struggling a little bit with, okay, I've got the brain fog. Like you run upstairs to get something. How many times do you do that? And you're like in the room and you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, let me know in the comments if that is you. Or you're on a live video and then your thoughts are floating around and you're like vibing and you're flowing. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell was I talking about? And I'm on live right now. And that has happened to me a time or two. You wonder why I'm like a stream of consciousness up here and I'm just blabbing. Well, half the time I'm like, where did my thought just go? Thank you for agreeing. And I'm not crazy here. And I feel like if I can just tell my story and dump it out there, you feel a little bit better about where you're at, because it's not a you thing, it's a woman thing. And we're all in this together, and I'm trying to learn, absorb so I can dump it out here. And if I can help you in just the littlest of ways, then I will feel like my job is done. But that's why I decided to make the Flux app, because I was talking to my team member and I'm like, I want this to be everything that I wish I had had. Like, I can track my cycle. I get updates. I get connected to the right person to help me with my hormones. Tell me if I need to get labs done. Tell me what the labs are meaning. Help me navigate if I want to do a supplemental and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of bioidentical therapy just yet. Tell me where to start with supplements. Like, I am going to make this the one-stop shop, and I have every intention of this just being everyone's new favorite app at a super affordable investment. Okay? But yeah, if you want information, so like for me, I like the liquid form of the D3 because again, it's already in the fat. And I was thinking about like how I used to take supplements and I was wasting it away. Like, I did not have a clue about, okay, this needs to be taken with a meal containing fat. This needs to be taken on an empty stomach. This needs to be taken. And so anyhow, Adapt Naturals, I'm so excited to connect with them because the owner is also a functional medicine practitioner of 15 years. So he himself works with women 40 and up. And so it just was like a perfect partnership, and I'm just over the moon excited. So yes, they have a ton of amazing things. I actually am starting to take their animal organs. I don't know if you guys have jumped on the wagon yet, because I'm curious. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go. But anyways, every woman out there struggling, watch this again. And if you're not already if you're taking a quality brand, continue that. But if you're looking and you're like, I don't really know, again, listen back. And I just created a reel, so I'll post it here in the next day or two, about the importance of D3 in our body. Again, don't be supplemented with D2. It needs to be D3 paired with K2. And then you also need your magnesium, enough in the body to be able to properly activate, utilize that in the body. And then the omegas are great too. So those three are like the trifecta, like the trio, the vitality trio. Okay. So anyhow, for postmenopausal women, yes. No, this new app, and right now, currently I work with postmenopausal women. I have a client who is 69 and she is thriving. She's doing an incredible job. I have women anywhere from 36 up to about 70. So a lot of menopausal. Yeah, it's just a little tweaks here and there. And, depending on where you're at hormonally, if you're taking bioidentical therapy, we got to focus a little bit more on gut health, and the fasting needs to be adjusted a little bit, and the intensity of workouts and all of that. So I offer the one-on-one coaching now. I'm also going to be offering that in the future. However, after I do launch this app, I will say I'm probably only accepting maybe like 5 one-on-one clients a year, because I have another business that I really want to be focusing on. So that's why I'm pouring my heart and soul into this new app, because it's me. Like, I'm creating all the content. It's kind of a one-stop shop for all the things, so I can help as many people as I can. And then I can focus a little bit more on my other business that I'm trying to grow, because life is too short and you need to follow your passion. And this will always be my number one passion, but sometimes things change. And right now I really love marketing, and I want to help women get more into the marketing space and grow their confidence around that. So, my whole entire thing is, whether it's body or it's business, having women feel confident and empowered enough to be their best selves. So yeah, we can do it by making money, and we can do it also by building your body, right? And making you feel great. So anyhow, friends, thank you for listening to me blab. If you want information on the supplements, I have my other supplements downstairs. Let me know. And there is a 30% off your subscription with this company. So Tiffany, I am so blessed, so glad that you decided to follow me too. And Evelyn as well. All right, ladies, have a great day. Talk to you soon.